That, ladies and gentlemen, is how they rob us of our freedoms, by robbing us of our time, because our labor is our time, and our time is our freedom. Hello YouTubers, Alaska Prepper here. Ladies and gentlemen, it seems that Social Security is going to run out of money by, 3034 now? If Congress takes no action. Well, I want to go ahead and tell you all Social Security recipients out there that you earned that money. That is your money that was taken from you without your consent, in my opinion. Alright, ladies and gentlemen? And you will continue to get that money, in my opinion. And I'm going to show you why it is that you will continue to get that money here in the future. I don't think that if our system as we know it now is still around in another 14 years, which is very hard to believe, that Social Security will be taken out. I don't think that will happen, and I'm going to show you exactly why. But first, let's go ahead and take a look at this article and see what they have to say about it. Social Security's trust fund will now run out of money by 2034 without congressional action. Social Security will run out of money by 2034, accelerating by a year because a loss of tax revenue during what? It's what they used to blame for everything, ladies and gentlemen. If you stomp your toe on the refrigerator, it's not your fault because you didn't have the light on. It's the fault of the health crisis. While Medicare's main trust fund will be empty by 2026 unless Congress raises taxes or cuts benefits. Right? That's the key word. Raises taxes, which takes me back to a video that I did a while back. I think it was during a live stream that I showed you all something that we're going to revisit today for a very short while. It says here that basic Medicare and Social Security will be able to fund benefits after those dates, but not fully. Social Security will fund 78% on the dollar, while Medicare will fund 91%. According to annual reports for each program released this Tuesday. The 2021 reports of the trustees for Social Security and Medicare, comprised of the Secretaries of the Treasury, Labor and Health and Human Services, are the first to take in the impact of this health crisis, according to officials with HHS, which administers both programs. The increase in death rates among Social Security beneficiaries slightly offset the loss in revenue due to unemployment. So what they just said there, ladies and gentlemen, is because of the loss of unemployment, because of this health crisis, because of not the health crisis, but because of the regulations and mandates that were put in place by the government. Remember the Hegelian dialectic? What I always talk about? Create a crisis, and then see what the response to that crisis is, and then come and be the savior to the people for the crisis that you yourself helped to create. Hegelian dialectic. It says here that Medicare's main trust fund has been projected to run out of money in 2026 for the last several years. The potential impact of the expensive Alzheimer's drug Aduhelm was not estimated in the Medicare report, officials said, because they can't estimate its costs until Medicare administrators decide whether to cover it. Quote, policymakers have time to deal with this, but 2026 isn't so far away. And I'm going to show you, ladies and gentlemen, that 2026 is not very far away, and neither is 2025. There are very real challenges facing our country in terms of financing care for an aging population. Medicare's trust funds are financed by payroll taxes. They are financed by payroll taxes. Remember that. Income taxes on Social Security benefits, Medicare premiums, and general tax revenue, according to the Tax Policy Center, while Social Security's trust fund are funded mostly by payroll taxes. And they say here, this is a surprising fact that fewer people than expected filed for Social Security benefits in 2020, especially disability insurance. So now, ladies and gentlemen, I want to show you this. How is this problem going to be solved? It's going to be solved one of two or three ways. Number one, if every single Social Security beneficiary decides not to collect Social Security, which that's not going to happen. If most of them pass away, which that's not going to happen, and we don't want that to happen. Believe it or not, this generation right here needs the elderly. We need their wisdom. What I would give to be able to be good friends with someone that is still alive from back in the Great Depression era. I was watching a video the other day, and I forget the name of it, but it was of a man and his great grandmother who was, I think, 87, and she was a child during the Great Depression. I think she said she was born in 1927 or something like that. I don't remember exactly. But maybe she was born in 33. But she grew up during the Great Depression, and pretty much all she did as a child was go out to the field to work, because they had to work for their food. They had their own farm, and they had to work. And he was asking her questions about how it was growing up and what kind of foods they ate. And she still makes foods from them. What I would give to have an elderly friend like that could just provide me with all that wisdom and experience that they've gone through. So that's not going to happen, ladies and gentlemen, that the major Social Security beneficiaries are going to pass away like that before this becomes a problem in 2026, 2034, right? Another thing, ladies and gentlemen, that can help to fix this problem is if they increase taxes. And I remember here a while back, I think it was probably maybe 3 or 4 live streams ago, I think it's when I covered it. I was showing you this right here. Now this here is the national debt clock. And you can just go to usnationaldebtclock.org. I believe it's .org, right? Yes, .org. And it'll show you live what's going on as far as how much we owe on the national debt, how much the U.S. government is borrowing, what the deficit is, what the unemployment rate is, how many people are in the workforce, all this kind of stuff, right? But during that live stream, I remember showing you all something that was off, because you can go forward 5 years in the national debt clock, and it shows you something. So the question is Social Security going to go away, or is Medicare going to go away by 2026? Well, let's deal with Medicare first. I don't think it will. I was flabbergasted when I showed you all this, when I discovered this. I was like, wait a minute, something's changed, because I look at this on a regular basis. And in the past, I'd looked at the present, and I looked at what they were projecting for 2025, which has been very accurate. Like what they were projecting for 2020 was very accurate. Back when I looked at it, I think it was in 2016. And I was like, there's no way we're going to be in $27 trillion worth of debt in 2020. Because back in 2016, I think that our debt was like, I don't know, I think it was like 18 or 19 trillion back in 2016. Something like that. I was like, there's no way we're going to do $9 trillion in spending or more borrowing, in the next 4 years. And no doubt, ladies and gentlemen, last year in 2020, our national debt was like $27 trillion, just like they projected. So I take this pretty serious. I think it's pretty accurate that they can project out the way that they do. I mean, in the end, it's really all mathematics, right? Statistics and probabilities. So I think they're pretty accurate. So right now, take a look at this right here. U.S. federal tax revenue, $3.8 trillion. Okay? Now, when is this problem supposed to start with Medicare? Around 2026, they say. Now, check this out. Let's go forward 5 years. Let's go forward, not even 5 years. Let's go forward to 2025. This is 2025. Do you see a little bit of a difference in the U.S. federal tax revenue? 6.3 trillion instead of 3.8 trillion. So Medicare is not going to go away, ladies and gentlemen. It's the U.S. workforce, or the people that pay taxes, the 136 million projected taxpayers in 2025 that will be paying for that Medicare and keeping Medicare alive. And guess what's going to happen before Social Security runs out of money? If the system is still intact, all right, ladies and gentlemen, because this system can end at any time. That's why we have to be prepared. That's why we have to be prepared. What do you think is going to happen to this number in about 2032, 2033, right before Social Security starts to run out? Because you know that politicians, their main job is to get elected. What's going to happen when they say, yes, the tax revenue is going to increase again by another 30%? So prepare yourselves for a life in the future where your standard of living is reduced to that of a serf. And what is a serf? A serf is someone who works pretty much just to stay alive, because his or her master takes most of their pay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I do hope that you're heeding the warning. I've always said that we have time to prepare, and I still believe that. The only thing is that things are going to continue to get more expensive as we go on. And what do I mean by more expensive? Not necessarily nominally more expensive, meaning that dollar signs are going to go up, but that your labor is going to be worth less. The value of your labor will be worth less when compared to those things that you can purchase with the money that you earned with your labor. So when you go buy something, let's say you go buy a refrigerator, and that refrigerator 5 years ago cost you $500, and you made $500 a week 5 years ago. You can say that that refrigerator cost you 1 week's worth of labor. It cost you 40 hours worth of labor. Well, let's go ahead and fast forward it to today, where that same refrigerator or like refrigerator now costs you $1,200, but you're making $800 a week. You're making a lot more than what you were 5 years ago. You're making 60% more. But that refrigerator is now costing you about 1.5 weeks worth of your labor. That is how you have to measure the value of your labor. Because it doesn't really matter how many dollar signs are in front of that hourly wage. What really matters is how many hours of your time it costs you to purchase the same things today that you could 5, 10, 15, 20 years ago. That, ladies and gentlemen, is how they rob us of our freedoms, by robbing us of our time. Because our labor is our time, and our time is our freedom. Having said that, I hope you all have a great day today. Remember to be good to each other. When good people do good things happen. Tomorrow we have an awesome premiere and a lot of good stuff to show you tomorrow. So I'm very excited, all right? So for those of you that are still interested in nutrient survival, which I know a lot of people are, stay tuned for tomorrow's premiere. It's going to be a lot of fun. I've actually already got the video done, and I had a lot of fun doing it. My Patreons are going to be going over it with me today. But tomorrow is going to be put out to the public, and there's going to be a great, fantastic deal that Nutrient Survival is giving away. So hope to see you all there. Other than that, have a great day, ladies and gentlemen.
Taste buds in the mouth and have them coming back for dessert. Yeah, we've got that too. So whether you're digging in or bugging out, you don't just survive an emergency situation, you thrive in it. Nutrient Survival. Feed your freedom.